Okay, I've got a message for you today. Some of you are not going to like my message, and if I piss one or two people off, with my slightly abrasive personality, I've been pissing people off for 41 years, so nothing's going to change there. What I want to tell you, and I really wish some of you could get this hard into your head, because I see this obsession on social media, obsession with new clients, and you've got it wrong. In my opinion, 90% of people out there, 90% of you guys watching this video, with all due respect to you, you've got it wrong in terms of how you prioritize or how you contemplate nutrition and training. You all seem to think that nutrition is much more complicated than training, and you're prone to over-obsess about every little nuance of your diet and never about training. We have endless, ongoing, juvenile debate about nutrition. We have these. I'm trying to be polite and inclusive in these videos, and I struggle on this subject. You know, we have these flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, penises, who go on and on and on and on about how their way is the best way, and it's a crusade for these plonkers. I wish people were having crusades about, let's make, let's have an anti-Tracy Anderson crusade, and we can all get behind that. Let's not have a, you do your cardio with fasted and you don't. I'm going to have a crusade against you. Or no, I follow macros and you take a slightly different approach that's pretty much the same. Let's have a big war against one another. It's absolutely pathetic, but I mean, it's a different story. I want to basically try and get into people's heads. Everything has become too polarized, and it's become polarized with nutrition, and people are like rabid dogs. They hang on to one principle of nutrition above anything else. Some people flip-flop so badly between competing nutritional systems that their digestive system gets screwed up, and this and that, and a whole cottage industry of nutritional consultants has sprung up. And I think a good nutritionist has a massive role to play, because diet is fundamental to absolutely everything that we do. But I want to really get something off my chest, and I want to explain something about the complexities of nutrition and the complexities of training, and how it's not quite as complicated as it may seem. The first thing that we need to basically get clear is that diet controls body composition results. It does, especially when we're talking about fat loss. Diet is everything. Yes, arseholes who tell you training doesn't count for fat loss are arseholes, right? Total and utter pricks. This is my rant today, it seems. Training is so important. It's not just for the calories that you may or may not burn whilst exercising, or this, EPOC and calories you burn afterwards. It's what it does to your hormones. It's what it does to your compliance to a diet. People forget. People go, if you exercise, you're going to get hungry. Yeah, but if you exercise, you feel better about yourself. Therefore, you're less prone to eat shit. Right? Think about this. On the days when you eat shit food, and we all eat shit food, me included, is your exercise days or is it your duvet days? It's usually your duvet days. So, exercise is crucial, but diet is, let's call it 80%. And diet is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing. Because we take our diet with us 24/7. We take our mouths with us 24/7. And at 9 o'clock in the evening, I'm pointing to my living room that's back here. At 9 o'clock in the evening, you're bored, you're tired, you're irritated. The fridge calls your name. Anything bad in that fridge, it starts to call your name. And you need a goal to stop you going to that fridge. Whereas if you're training 3 or 4 times a week in the gym, you're going to get a buzz out of your training, you enjoy it. Training, it might be a bit of a pain in the arse to get to the gym sometimes, but once you make the commitment and you're there, you can go for it. Nutrition is much harder because it's a constant. Harder does not mean the same as complicated. Nutrition, diet, unless you've got a health issue, and I have to qualify that because someone's going to write below, what if I can't eat this? If you've got health issues, nutrition gets much, much, much more complicated. Of course it does. I'm talking now in generalizations. I'm always going to have to talk about generalizations in these videos. Diet is so easy and so simple. And if most people followed this, most people would achieve their goals. It's sort of 80% of the people would achieve 80% of their goals. Yes, we can make it more complicated with ramping up muscle, dialing down to 5% body fat, but we're not talking about that now. We're just talking about what applies to most people most of the time. And most people most of the time would include bodybuilders and athletes and things like that as well. It's just when you're nailing things that things might get more complicated. Here is the secret to eating properly. Eat from the land. Just eat from the land. Natural food. Is that paleo? No, not necessarily. Paleo now comes in all these different definitions, and I don't want you to define your food. I don't want you to fall into line with these pricks who go, I'm in this camp, or I'm in this camp, or I'm in that camp, or I'm in this camp. There are no camps for food, okay? We're all human beings. If we're healthy, got good digestive systems, don't have food sensitivities and intolerances and all these things, eat from the land. Which means avoiding canned foods and processed foods and sweets and pastries and blah, 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 blah. Does it mean you can eat grains? Yeah, you can eat porridge and stuff like that because it's from the land, it's not processed. Try not to eat man-made foods. Quantities. Well, eat when you're hungry. Again, some people don't have a cut-off mechanism. Most people do. We're talking about people who have cut-off mechanisms. Eat when you're hungry, eat from the land. Eat it if you can kill it, pick it, or pluck it. Now, somebody's going to go, oh, Nick Mitchell then says you can eat 10 bunches of bananas a day. No, you can't. You've got to be sensible. I'm just talking about common sense, right? Have some greens, have some animal protein, have some nuts, white potato. Honestly, some people say, it's got to be sweet potatoes or yams. I might say it's got to be sweet potatoes or yams if you want the perfect thing. But if you have if you have a white baked potato with a bit of cheese, fuck it, it's not the end of the world, right? It's not the end of the world. It's not going to send your health crashing into a downward spiral. Eat from the land. That's it. That's simple. We can tweak diet as much as we like. Eat from the land. Now, and you can follow that diet for the rest of your life, and you should optimize your health via that diet as long as everything else is sensible. You don't need to change the diet. Now, which is more complicated? That diet that you can follow for the rest of your life, or training for results, not training to get your heart rate going, training for results. Well, training for results is massively more complicated. Why? Because we don't ever really need to change the diet all that much. But if you don't change your training routine, what's going to happen? Remember this, the best training routine you've ever done is the one you've not done yet. Because we adapt. The whole process of getting fitter, getting better at an activity, laying down muscle tissue is adapting to stress. So when I train you, I'm going to train you and we do 3 sets of 8 reps, boom, boom, boom. But if we repeatedly do 3 sets of 8 reps, progress cannot be linear. You cannot progressively increase the weight every time. At some point, your weight gains are going to come down. Your weight loads that you're lifting are going to come down, sorry. So you need to change the variables. So we constantly need to change the variables with training. And the more experienced you get, unlike diet where you can stay with the same stuff, you can stay with the same, eat from the land, eat from the land, eat from the land, the greater your training age, the more you need to adapt your training routine, and the more frequently you need to adapt your training routine.